Hi everyone, I'm Lori and this is my first video I've ever done online, so I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I am the Executive Director of Apr6 Consulting, and we want to, during this time where people are so sort of disconnected from the regular supports and services that they have, we want to make sure families are getting some information with strategies of things they can do while at home with their kids. So the first thing is that for all of our kids, structure tends to be what helps them feel calm and safe. So as hard as it sometimes can be when, as parents, we're feeling like all of our structure is missing, the more we can kind of put structure in place for our kids, the better off they'll do. So things like having kind of a daily schedule, kids knowing when they have access to things like online gaming, what time of day that can happen, what they have to do before that can happen, so it doesn't feel quite so arbitrary, can be really helpful in helping to kind of reduce their stress and also behaviors. One of the things that I want to do is each day be able to give you guys strategies for both sort of older kids, things you can do, but also for our younger kids, or maybe for our kids that are a little more impaired and at home. So I'm going to start with kids whose primary goals might be life skill related. Now is a good time to start working on those skills to help them prepare for what adulthood might look like for them. And so don't be afraid to start to put in, some things around the house that they could do that would be helpful. So whether that's setting the table for lunch or supper, or helping fold laundry. But one of the tricks that we use to help teach kids is to have them copy us or do what we're doing. So when we want to have them do something, we'll say, do what I'm doing, follow me or copy me. So if you put a plate down, then you help them or prompt them to put a plate down on the table. You can then put a fork down and prompt them to put a fork down. If you're dusting, then you would say, do what I'm doing, and you would both show them how to do it. And don't be afraid to hand over hand or guide them. And then as they're doing it correctly, you want to make sure that you're giving them lots of positive feedback. So, wow, I love how you're helping, or I love that you copied me. For kids whose primary goals may be more social skill related, now that they're kind of more isolated, one of the things that we can try at home would be to do things like practice conversations. So one of the things I'm going to suggest is taking just like a dish or a bowl or a basket and putting in some topics for conversation. And not all interesting topics too, because sometimes your kids think that the only things that they should talk about are things that are interesting to them. The truth is we all engage in conversations every day about things that we're not that interested in. So, and we do that because it's polite. And so you can put things that you're interested in, or things that we always say, things that we think are boring, like plastic bags or brooms, whatever it is. Then you draw out and you start, and the children have to engage in a conversation with you for a period of time about that topic. Things that I like to remind people is that a conversation isn't lots of questioning. So our kids can sometimes be prone to asking lots of questions, which makes them really good interviewers, but not necessarily great conversationalists. One of the things they need to focus on is also making comments like, that's interesting, or that's really cool, or what we call add a thought. So it's taking something that you've said and expanding on that. So if I say, I went to the zoo last week and I saw these really amazing lions, and I was so impressed because they were just so huge that, they might say something like, oh, I love the zoo. I love going every year. And, my favorite thing is the penguins, right? So it's adding to that conversation. So we call them question comments and add a thoughts. And we want to make sure there's sort of a balanced approach to those across conversations. And then, for our younger kids, or our kids who are maybe still working on lots of those sort of early school skill or play skills, just lots of turn-taking activities, everything from a turn-taking game like Pop-Up Pig, or Go Fish, or our crocodile dentist, any of those games where the kids have an opportunity to take turns. Those are really important activities to helping them to learn about how the flow of things go, my turn and your turn. So those are just a few activities that you could say take some time to do with your kids this week to work on their social skills.